One thing I want to touch on before we go to phone line, phone calls 319-527-6212. I want to touch on this because, there have been people trying to talk to me about Kamala Harris. Talk to me about Kamala Harris because they wanted me to know that Kamala's not getting a fair shake. That Kamala Harris has been marginalized during this process. She hasn't been treated fairly. And somehow someone decided somewhere along the way that they didn't want her to become the nominee. And it's been less coverage. And when she was covered, it's been unfavorable coverage. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take a look at that. Hey, man, I'm always willing to get more information about something, right? And they were complaining about how Kamala Harris, people were calling for her to drop out. And I was one of those people saying, like, hey, get out. I was saying Kamala Harris should get out because she's not doing well. And I don't see a way up for her at this point. So there's been article after article coming out about Kamala Harris about how her campaign is effectively over. I would go further to say, I would say it's not effectively over, it is over. It's dead. It just doesn't know it yet. It thinks it's alive. It's a zombie. She has a zombie. She has the Democratic Party's first zombie campaign right now. I mean, they're waiting. I guess Kamala's waiting for it to bite her, try to eat her guts before she realizes it's a zombie and you might want to shoot it. I mean, that's how bad her campaign is at this point. And that's got nothing to do with my personal feelings about her because I don't have any personal feelings about her because I don't know her personally. It has to do with the fact that I will never, ever support a prosecutor for anything above dog catcher. Unless they are the most progressive prosecutor in the world. And then they would not be able to be a prosecutor because they would lose their job because a prosecutor's job is to lock up people. That's their job. And in the world, in the world's most incarcerated nation, United States, I can never support a person who was a prosecutor, whose job was to lock up people. For the same reason, I could never support Amy Klobuchar. Just can't happen. Won't happen. So, Tim, why are we talking about this? Tim, we know how you feel about Kamala Harris. Well, maybe some new people came through. Maybe you've been sharing this show with people, and they saw it, and they say, let me check it out. They need to know. They need to know why, too. So there was a New York Times article that just came out. It said the same thing I'm saying, but it went much further. Oh, my God, folks. The quarterback is toast. Die Hard, the first one. Woo! I'm telling you, man, this is... I mean, Kamala... This lady that used to work for Kamala, her name is Kelly Mallenbacher. I don't know. If I was Kamala, I might go looking for her because, woo, she wrote a letter, a severance letter. She spilled all the tea. Anyway, here goes them discussing this latest New York Times article, the demise of the Kamala Harris campaign, the unraveling of the Harris campaign, and this turncoat. Check this out.
Almost exactly 5 months later, this story out today. J. Mart, Alex Burns, and Ested Herndon, how Kamala Harris's campaign unraveled. They obtained the resignation letter of the Harris campaign state operations director, who is now joining the Bloomberg campaign. She wrote, "It is unacceptable that with less than 90 days until Iowa, we still do not have a real plan to win. Our campaign for the people is made up of diverse talent, which is being squandered by indecision and a lack of leaders who lead." Molly, that is rough stuff. You wrote a fantastic cover story on Kamala Harris about a month ago or so. I'm sure, based on what your reporting has been, a lot of this isn't really a surprise to you.
No, what's a surprise is that she has failed to turn it around despite literally months and months and months of hearing this kind of frustration. And you hear it, it's reporters, it's people inside the campaign, it's people outside the campaign, it's pretty much every voter that you meet on the campaign trail who goes to see her, and the common theme is people want to like her, and then she doesn't close the deal. She's not able to articulate a consistent and compelling message that makes those voters who show up for her, who are interested in what she's selling, that makes them decide, yes, this is the candidate I can commit to. And the Times story and a Post story today have really laid out this frustration, especially within her team, that she hasn't been able to make those decisions.
And she's been all over the place in terms of the message. Here's a clip to show some of her kind of all over the place messaging.
Truth, justice, decency, equality, freedom. Our mother would sit up trying to figure out how to make it all work. That's something most Americans know all too well. And that's what my 3 a.m. agenda is all about.
He's tearing us apart. She'll bring us together. This is Trump. And in every possible way, this is the anti-Trump.
And now to Lou, one of the messages is she's the one who can bring back the Obama coalition in the way that Obama had it in 2007.
Yeah, they've tried out a number of different messages over the past several months and just tried to see what is stuck. And it's been difficult to follow her campaign because there have been so many different messages. And one of the biggest debates that she's having internally is whether she wants to be sort of this progressive, left-wing California liberal, or whether or not she wants to be more of a moderate. And both of those lanes are currently clogged up, and the fact that she's kind of vacillating between the two of those makes it difficult for any voter to stick to her when there are so many other options.
And Julie, this was a policy-heavy campaign, I think, in a way that some folks who got in didn't necessarily predict and maybe weren't ready for, and she has had issues with some of her policies.
Right, and some of this goes back to the candidate herself. I mean, they have tried out a lot of different messages and a lot of different strategies, but as Molly said, it is her lack of ability to stick to one policy prescription, one set of policy issues that she really wants to be her trademark that has put her where she is today.
Ew. Doesn't look good, Johnson. Yeah, it doesn't look good at all. Now look, so we had Kamala Harris, and it's almost over. This is like the end of Cheers. You know, and who do you blame for it? Whose fault really is it? Some would say it's Kamala Harris's fault. In fact, some did say it was Kamala Harris's fault. I mean, people that worked in their campaign, people that were there under the condition of anonymity, over 50 different people spoke out. They talked about working on a dysfunctional campaign with no true cohesive message. They talked about things like attacking other competitors in the race and then backing off after attacking them ill-advisedly. They talked about no cohesive message. You saw the clips. No plan to win? No plan to win? Now, we could say all these things, right? We can just go down a list and look at all the different issues that the campaign's had, from the fact that she's a prosecutor, that didn't go over well, rolling it out on, what was it, on MLK's Day, I think it was, or birthday, or... It was something historical about the way she did it. I think she rolled out at Howard University, and then she went on the Breakfast Club and said, I'm not going to help the blacks. And she was like really matter-of-factly. I think maybe she spent a little bit too much time with Obama. Maybe she thought that would work. So she rolls out a campaign at a historically black college or university, Howard University, one of the most famous, if not the famous, most famous. And then she goes on a very black-centric radio station, not owned by black folks, but listened to by black folks, with black commentators. And she says, when asked, what you going to do for black people, she says, oh, I'm not going to do anything for black people. Oh, you best believe I'm not going to do anything for them. And I guess maybe she thought that would work because it kind of worked for Obama, but he didn't say that till after he got in. If he'd have said that before he got in, people would have voted, Hillary would have been your nominee in 2008, and then maybe Bernie would have won 2016 because there'd have been no Hillary. She would have definitely been out in 2012. But anyway, here's the point. Kamala Harris made a lot of missteps. One of the biggest missteps is she doesn't really believe anything, at least not that I can tell. Right? Kamala Harris, when she was an attorney, a prosecutor, San Francisco a prosecutor, right? She was progressive. Kinda. Ish. At times. Like, she couldn't make her mind up then. When she became Attorney General of California, she was hawkish. She was law and order. She ran to the right of the progressive Attorney General, but she was against the death penalty. But she was always been sort of schizophrenic in her policies, in what she believes, just like no core. Lock them up, let them go. Help the kids, lock up the parents. There's no... So what I'm saying is, what's wrong with her campaign is what's wrong with her. They say when you get money, you become more of who you are. You're a derelict, a degenerate. You're going to be more of a degenerate. Some people don't need money. If they had money, they'd be dead now. They don't have enough money to OD. You know what I mean? Because they just can't afford it. But they would, because they're degenerates. Because they just, they got problems. That didn't come out right. But you understand what I'm saying, right? And some people, the only thing saving them is that they don't have the resources to be as bad as they would want to be. Well, Kamala Harris was given all the resources, and what she was more of who she's always been. Flip-floppy, no guiding principle, no focus, no whatever works, be that thing to win. Matter of fact, the main thing she talks about on her stump speech is she's a winner. She does whatever it takes to win. The problem is that's not very inspirational. When you run for president, you need to inspire a lot of people. All types of people. It's just not about who's going to come out and back you up or endorse you. It's about, can you sell a vision? And do you have conviction to that vision? And that's what I don't see with Kamala. Not at all. This is Kelly Mellenbacher. This is what she said. She said, morale has never been lower, and additional people, even if only 3, are laid off, and neither the campaign manager or the chair addresses the staff to explain, apologize, or reassure us of the decisions being made and a path forward. So there wasn't just messaging problems. There was internal problems, lack of leadership problems. Many of our advisors, or her advisors, are now pointing a finger directly at Harris. Here goes the most damning of all comments in this whole article. Gil Duran, a former aide to Ms. Harris, says you can't run the country if you can't run your campaign. Sounds a little bit like Hillary when Michelle Obama said you can't run a country if you can't run your own house. Ugh, ouch. Oh. Okay. It's going to leave a mark. That still sounds hard. Doesn't it sound hard? Yeah. But when you don't like somebody, you're it's okay. So anyway, the point is, Kamala Harris, look, it's never been about her personally. Like I said, I don't know her personally. And I think for the voters, they don't get a personableness out of her. Something's missing. And I think what it is not having your own way to go and saying, you know what, screw this, screw. You know what, go to hell. I'm me. And this is what I believe. This is what I think is the vision. And I'm going to put everything into it. And I'm going to go for it. And this is what I believe is right. And that will pull people. But if you're wishy-washy and you're all over the place and you don't know if you're coming or going and you're poll tested and you're consulted, overly consulted, and then you listen to your consultants, then you don't, then you have no game plan, you have nothing. I'm thinking this can be said about a lot of the campaigns. I don't think Kamala Harris is the only campaign that you can make these types of criticisms of. But as I stated, well, I didn't state this. Look, Kamala Harris's campaign, she was up 15 points. She was like 15 points nationally. Now she's like 3. What are you guys waiting for? Her to go to 0? And then it's okay? Is that when it's okay to say she should get out? I mean, we said Beto should get out. I didn't see a reason for Beto to run anyway. I don't see a reason for Kamala to run. Hey, let's cut the crap, guys. Unless you have a compelling vision for the world, why run? Like, you should be running for a reason that's bigger than you getting a notch on your belt. To be president should be a terribly hard thing to do. I don't want anybody feeling sorry for people who can't become president, who don't have a clear vision of what they're trying to do for the world. This should be the hardest thing you've ever done because it affects so many people. It's not even in the realm of righteousness for it to even exist that you can have as much power as you can have sitting in that Oval Office. One person should not be allowed that level of power. So I don't feel bad at all about somebody not cutting it. In the case of Kamala Harris, she's a freaking senator, already killing it. I'm supposed to feel sorry that she can't become president? Beto O'Rourke is married to a duchess or something. She owns the color burgundy. She's so freaking rich. He never has to work a day in his life. He's got a prenup that would make Bill Gates go, you did all right. You did all right. You're not me, but you did all right. And I'm supposed to feel sorry because he had to drop out? What's his compelling vision of the world? How is he going to change the world? And if you don't have that thing, if you don't have something that you believe so much that it keeps you up at night, get you up early in the morning, you forget to sleep, then it's not only understandable that you lose, well, damn it, it's a good thing that you do because we don't need you. We already got you. We got one like you already. Somebody who has no business sitting in that Oval Office. Did you enjoy that content? I know you did. You got great taste, Johnson. What can I say? Become a member of the Tim Black Wolf Pack today right here on YouTube or go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. And you'll get free stuff, special stuff, secret stuff. Do it today. Wolfpack.